Hi everyone, it's Michele, Star One. Welcome back to Stories from the Road. So last week I told about the beginnings of Star One and Jeff and myself and how we got started and funny little stories that we ran into over the years. But one thing in real estate is you're always driving. You're always driving to a house, you're driving for showings. And it hasn't always been, where you had the GPS or you had the Garmin or that. So like I had said, when I went with Jeff, he and I would go and I would be in the passenger seat and they would give us the blue folder. Well, on the top of the blue folder was a map that they had printed from a book. Used to be able to find the map books over at the 7-Elevens. So the girls would print off the map and then they would take a yellow or green highlighter and they would draw how to get to the person's house with the address. Now, Jeff found me very, very helpful in this area, but the two of us were very map challenged. I mean, just, knowing how to get to places, because if you go into Beacon Woods or you go into Timber Oaks, they're all circled around their HOA. And so it's like a spider web. In fact, my first day, he had me going to a house there, and I remember calling him on the phone, and I was lost. It was dark, and I was lost, and, yelling on the phone. I didn't know where I was really scared. But anyway, so we would always follow these maps, but sometimes it still was very hard. So what we would do is call my husband, Bruce, and he would bring it up on his computer. Back then, the computers aren't as good as they were now, but we would call Bruce our Google Maps, because I would call Bruce and I would tell him where we were and he would do the map on the thing, and then he would talk to us as we went to the house. So we were very map challenged. We spent a lot of time, getting places, but we always left it enough time. And there's my cat saying hi. We always left it enough time so that we wouldn't be late, because, being late, he didn't like to be late there. So we would leave early enough. So Bruce, he was our Google map, and he would tell us how to get places. And it would be very frustrating sometimes for him because he didn't know where we were. But we would laugh along the way, and we always got where we were going, and that was the most important thing. But like I said, back in the day, you had to use a map. You didn't have your, I can't remember what those are called, but Jeff never had one of those that you put in the car. But, it was, we would have our map, and then we would have our phone. And then the last Cadillac that he had the navigation on it. And he would come to the house, and he picked me up before we left, and he'd have it all typed in. And away we would go on our happy trails to all these lovely people's houses. But back in the day, it was so much fun with the map. We'd have our stack of folders, and then we'd have to figure out how to get out of the neighborhood and get to the next neighborhood. So that's another little story about real estate that, back in the day. And when I say back in the day, I mean about 20 years ago, back in the early 2000s. That's when we started. But back in the day, you had to use a map. And we would say we were map challenged. So I hope you enjoyed this little story about real estate. Every week is just going to be a little bit of something that has changed along the way. New technologies and that, and funny little stories that happen to Jeff and myself over the time. We're also going to have invite people who I work with and such. So next week we'll be talking about the frames and things where we get our signs made. And Jeff always had the go big, go home. Anyone who knows us knows we have huge signs. Big. I don't know if we have the biggest signs, but we have some of the biggest signs out there. Anyway, so this is Michele. I'm with Star One Realty Group. I look forward to talking to you again next week for the stories from the road. If you're looking for a house, don't stay on our YouTube channel, as we have our videos, our video walkthroughs of our homes. And also, the talking real estate part is we'll give you some information on what's happening in our market today. So thanks again. Have a lovely day. We'll talk to you soon.